Opium Trail. It's Thin Lizzy from the Still Dangerous album. It's new. Scott Gorham, our guest tonight, telling us about the album and great Thin Lizzy stories at 1-800-344-ROCK. Rockline is brought to you by Fox. Fox Wednesday. Don't miss an all-new episode of the hit series Lie to Me. It's at a new time. It's an hour earlier now at 8, 7 Central, right before the American Idol results show. More of your calls coming up. More of the great new music from Still Dangerous as well. This is a little taste of Baby Drives Me Crazy. Touch of the studio version of Don't Believe a Word. Scott Gorham of Thin Lizzy, our guest on Rockline tonight. All the lines are on hold currently. Keep trying at 1-800-344-ROCK. Patrick got through from Cranston, Rhode Island. Welcome to Rockline, Patrick.
Hey, what's going on, Scott? How you doing?
Hi, Patrick.
I got to say, it's an honor to talk to you and to keep things running along here. My question for you is, and before I ask you, please make your way down the Rhode Island area with the Lizzy. It'd be great to see you guys as an army of fans over here. I'd love to hear you.
All right, we're coming.
And my question for you, Scott, is, was there ever a time during the Thunder and Lightning tour you want to grab Phil and say, hey, listen, this lineup should do one more album and do another tour and see what happens? Was there ever any getting around to that, or...
Well, that's a really good question, Patrick, and I'll be dead honest with you here. The reason that was the last tour and the last album really was the result of me going to Phil and really saying, I think we've had enough. Both Phil and I were having real problems at this stage. The whole drug thing had gotten way out of control, and for my money, I just thought that I could see the performance levels going down. The writing of the song levels were going down, and I was really in fear that. If we, at this stage, if we kept it going any longer, we were going to start dragging this through the mud. And I really, really didn't want to see that. Plus, I knew that because of the state that, Phil and I were in at this point, we really had to come off the road and we really had to get our acts back together again, or something, tragic was going to happen. When I mentioned, and when I did talk to Phil about this, of course, he didn't want to know anything about that. And, we can work our way through this. It isn't going to be a problem. But, I think in his heart, he knew, what I was saying, was absolutely true. And things were going wrong. And we really did, need to walk away from this. I think what's, a better idea would have been, and I've thought about this a lot over the years, is really, the management should have stepped in at this point and really said something along the lines of, you guys don't have to really give this up totally and completely. What you guys are going to need to do is, take a year off. Take 2 years off, go into, get help, get rehab, something, but you don't have to actually give this thing up totally. But, at that point in time, there was no, established sort of rehab institutions at this point. There was no template that we, actually had to work off of, at this point in time. Like there is nowadays, when people have a problem now, there's a whole bunch of places people can go to. At that point in time, there was not a lot of those kind of places. So, it was decided at that point that, it's time. We'll walk away from this and we'll try to keep the reputation intact. And so, at that point, it just felt like, the right thing to do. And it felt like at that point it was needed to do. So, but I understand what you mean. Why couldn't we have kept it going? But, those are some pretty strong reasons for not continuing at that point.
It's just so sad. He was so young. I mean, wasn't
36 years old.
Yeah, wow.
That just, it shouldn't happen. But Phil was like one of those guys. Taking it to the max with everything he did. But I saw Phil 3 weeks before he died, and he was making a lot of noises that he was going to get away from all of this crap. He was going to get away. He was going to do away with the drugs. He was going to get himself healthy. He was going to get himself better. He was whipping out the guitar, and he'd slam out a few chord sequences, and he was saying things like, we really ought to get back together again and start writing again. And and outwardly and inwardly, I'm going, absolutely. We really need to do this, right? And then, kind of in the next breath, he was saying, we really, at some point, we really need to get the band back together again and go back out on the road, And outwardly, I'm going, we really should. But inwardly, I'm taking a look at my buddy here, and he's not there yet. He knows it, and I knew it, that he had to get back in shape to do this kind of thing, because, as you know, Bob, to get out and do these kind of tours, it's more than just getting up and playing your guitar. It's a pretty strenuous thing that you're putting your body through, both mentally and physically. So, inwardly, I'm thinking, I really want to do this, Phil, and you really want to do it, but man, you've really got to get yourself healthy again first. But, when I left that day, I felt really positive. I felt like, Phil, he really means it. He really wants to do this. He wants to get himself better. And, I think he's going to do it. But, unfortunately, 3 weeks later, Phil passed away, and we weren't able to, keep that promise up. So it was really a shame that we couldn't, keep the promise going.
He was so disease-riddled at the end, too. Really a shame. Let's take another call. So many people want to speak with you tonight. Dave in Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to Rockline.
Good evening. How you doing, Scott?
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Not too bad.
Good.
I was asking about was, and we still have dart stores down here in Columbus. But
you still have
Gary,
what stores?
Dart stores.
Oh, dart
stores. We still buy them and sell them around here. But when Gary Moore came in, and then when the tour went off and he left again, was he a contributing factor, or was he just playing out what was going on at the time?
Well, how do you mean a contributing factor?
Yeah, contributing to what?
Was he just playing what was already preset, or was he doing his own thing with you?
Are you talking musically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I understand now. Yeah, well, we did this with, there was a lot of changes on the right-hand side of the stage, throughout Lizzie's career. I always refer to it as the revolving door, right?